Hello and welcome to EPOP Academic English 1 Week 3 Part 2. So in Part 1 of this week we looked at capitalization. And in this video, Part 2, we're going to look at sentence structure. And this is pages 10 to 15 of the Introduction to Academic Writing book. So the first question that we need to ask is, what is a sentence? And a sentence is a group of words that contains at least one subject and one verb and expresses a complete thought. So here's an example of a simple sentence. Chitsu ate a mango. So the subject tells who or what did something, and the verb tells the action. So can you see in this sentence where the subject is and where the verb is? So the person that did something is Chitsu. So Chitsu is the subject, and the action is ate. So that is the verb. So there are four kinds of sentences in English. There are simple sentences, compound sentences, complex sentences, and compound complex sentences. But in this video, we're going to focus on simple sentences. And a simple sentence has at least one subject-verb pair. And these subject-verb pairings can have several possible formulas or several kinds. So, for example, the first sentence we looked at, Chitsu ate a mango, has one subject and one verb. It is a subject-verb formula. But what about this sentence? Chitsu and her friends ate mangoes. What about the subject or subjects in this sentence and the verb? So, the people that were doing things were Chitsu. Therefore, Chitsu is a subject, but also her friends. So in this sentence, there are two subjects, Chitsu and her friends. And the verb is, as before, is ate. So we can say this is an SSV, or a subject-subject-verb sentence formula. So how about this example? Chitsu ate a mango and drank a glass of water. What about the subject? So again, the subject is Chitsu. We have the verb ate, but we also have a second verb, drank. So this is a subject, verb, verb formula. And finally, Chitsu and her friends ate mangoes and drank glasses of water. Okay, so in this case, we have the subject Chitsu, and we have a second subject, her friends. We have the verb ate, and we have a second verb, drank. So this is a subject, subject, verb, verb sentence formula. Okay, so we want to look at subject-verb agreements. So you need to consider when you're checking a sentence whether the subject is singular or plural, one or many, and then does it agree with the verb? So for example here, my sister is married. In this case, my sister is one sister, so therefore it is the singular form of the verb to be, which is. My sister is married. In this second example, my sisters are married. So there are many sisters, and so we're using the plural of the verb to be, are. My friend and I are single. So again, in this case, there are two people, my friend and I, and therefore the verb to be is the plural form, are. So if you have a look at page 11 in the Introduction to Academic Writing book, you will be able to see more information about subject-verb agreements. So the next thing I want to look at is prepositional phrases. So a prepositional phrase is a group of words beginning with a preposition, such as of, or with, or in, or at, or on. And the prepositional phrase can come between the subject and the verb. And sometimes this can be a little bit complicated and confusing, and it makes you think that maybe you need the plural form of the verb to be, when in fact you need to use the singular. So here's an example. One of my sisters is married. Okay, so in this case, when you see sisters, you think, oh, hold on, maybe this is plural. But actually, of my sisters is the prepositional phrase and is not the subject. And the subject is one. And of course, one is singular, and therefore the verb is also in the singular form, is. Here's another example. The color of his eyes changes when he is angry. Okay, so again, the subject here is not eyes, but the subject is the color. And of his eyes is the prepositional phrase. And so it's using the singular form of the verb change. So in this case, changes. And then lastly, 6 kinds of rice are available in the market. Okay, so in this case, the subject is 6 kinds, and that is plural. And therefore, the verb is plural, as it are. And the prepositional phrase is of rice. Okay, so on page 12 of the Introduction to Academic Writing book, you will find some useful advice about other words which are always single and plural, and in some cases can be either. So for example, one of my friends is married. Neither of my friends is married. Okay, much of my time is spent working. Okay, so these are some examples of words that are in sentences. They'll start sentences and they're always singular. So here are some other examples of words which are always plural. Both of my friends are married. Several of my friends are married. Many of my friends are married. So again, the verb always takes the plural form when the sentence begins with these words. And then in these cases, it can be either. You know, most of my time is spent working. Most of my friends are married. So it can be either. None of my time is spent working. None of my friends are married. So if you take a look at pages 13, 14, and 15, you'll see a lot of opportunities to practice the things that we've looked at in this presentation. So all the best of luck with sentence structure. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.